there's 100 different examples of how to get from going under contract to closing and getting a mortgage. Treating it as a strategy versus here's a mortgage.
Yep.
That's the theme I use. Let's figure out the right strategy.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Lively Agent Podcast, where we learn from and tell the stories of the most amazing, badass, and successful thought leaders in real estate. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, and check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well, where we post content regularly throughout the week. Thanks so much, guys, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Our guest today is quickly becoming a legend in the lending world. In fact, outside of a couple of odd jobs in college, mortgage banking is the only job he's ever had. And last year in 2020, he and his team of 7 people closed north of $230 million in loans. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Wes Sellew to the podcast. There we go. There's the formal welcome you deserve.
Thank you. It's too nice. Too nice. Wow. It's great to be here in front of everybody.
In front of this live studio audience. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here. How we doing?
Man, this is awesome. You've been talking about this, and if there's anybody that can get it done and get it to the table, it's you.
I appreciate you saying that, and I'm just honored that you carved out a little time here to come do a little Q&A with myself and with the millions of people we have that will be watching. Now I say that in jest, but someday that definitely will be the case.
I hope that's the case. They'll go back to the 3rd or 4th episode and look at this one and say, "Look how far they've come."
That's exactly right. So, man, how are things going? How's you closed $230 million, a personal and team record in 2020.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's certainly not done without a lot of hard work, not just by me, but fantastic team members.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have done it without them.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Wade, Colleen, Scott, Michelle, Christina, Liz.
The whole crew.
Just the whole crew.
Did you get everybody?
I think so. Did I get everybody? I did.
Don't do like they do.
I'm nervous on camera.
Don't do like they do at the Oscars, where you forget one name. And
Mom. Forget about mom.
Mom. Yep. The woman behind it all. So, how are things going this year? Have you guys just kind of picked up where you left off, moving into 2021, or where are things at?
So it's interesting. I'm kind of amazed where our volume is, given the low inventory of homes in the Charleston market, which is probably where 85% of our business is done right here in town. So given the low number of homes available on the market, our numbers are astronomical. So the percentages of, market capture we have, I'm just shocked and proud of our team of what we're doing. So anyways, we're doing great.
Dude, that's awesome. So are you, as of right now, are you on track to surpass your goal from 2020? Or excuse me, your what you hit in 2020?
Yeah, if rates hold the same, we'll be there. But mortgage rates could certainly drive refis into the desert, right?
Sure.
We're gone. Won't have any if rates get to 4%. But
yeah, so we're both of our industries, I guess, are a little susceptible to some things that are kind of outside our control here.
Correct. We don't know what rates are going to do. We need more homes for sale in your world. In our world, we do have purchases and refis, and they're both beneficial for us. And obviously, a refi helps the consumer on whether it's cash out or getting a lower payment or reducing the term.
Yep.
But then there's obviously the home purchase market for investors, second homes, and people to put a roof over their family. So that's the one you're focusing on. That's the one we love the most, and it's concerning with the low number of homes available.
It's tough out there, man. I mean, I'm sure you're seeing this too, because you're coming up with all these pre-qual letters, and you're probably seeing from a lot of your buyer specialists, right? Folks that are having to do this 2, 3, 4, 10 times, before they can finally nail something down for their client.
The agents are getting used to it, but the poor home buyers, they're getting their dreams broken.
Right.
We're on our 5th offer. We've got beat out, thousands of dollars over list, no appraisal contingencies in there. It's certainly, for lack of better words, the weirdest, most unique real estate market I have ever been a part of in 20 years.
That's what I was just about to ask, is if you've ever seen anything like this before.
Never. Even during 2005, at the peak of the first real estate boom, there were still homes available for sale. We didn't have 1,600 homes in our market. In 2010, when we were coming out of that recession, I think there were 16,000 homes. I'm sure somebody out there will correct me on that, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then when we got into 12 to 14 to 15, 10,000 homes for sale. I'm sure if we could show a raise of hands, how many agents out there wish there were 10,000 homes for sale right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see a lot of salvating
see a lot
going
of
on.
them. Yeah.
Right.
So do you think a lot of that, so this is definitely the weirdest market, but it's also kind of been like the weirdest year for just in general in the world, right? With all this, with COVID and quarantines and then political landscapes, like just a lot of just weird stuff, right? So like, do you think a lot of this is for all these reasons why you would think real estate market wouldn't necessarily be booming outside the fact that rates are so low? Are we the beneficiary of a lot of movement from the Northeast coming down, and we've kind of created this perfect storm that makes this market so weird?
100%. The pandemic has put everybody on the fast track to getting out of where they don't like living, i.e. the Northeast, big cities, high taxes, cold weather. So they were fast track because they could work remote. So people were, all right, well, why are we up here anyways? We can't see our friends anyways because we can't go outside because we have to go in a mask. So why don't we just leave? And that has started a trend, and everybody's doing it.
Yep.
So they're coming to places like South Carolina, Florida, Texas are big winners for the pandemic in terms of real estate, new bodies being here to buy a house.
It's funny. I heard I forget who said it. I think it was on one of the podcasts, or maybe it was a comedian. I forget who said it, but they were talking about how, living in New York, it's probably 6 months ago, living in New York right now is like being in the friend zone because there's a price you pay to be in New York, right? And there's some things that you deal with, right? And you pay high taxes and everything is ridiculously expensive and the traffic and people everywhere. But on the flip side, they have amazing nightlife and art and theater and entertainment is just some of the best you can find in the world, right? But when you shut all that down, it's like you still have to deal with all the BS, but you get none of the upside.
The friend zone. That's pretty good. I like that. I'm going to take that with me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and there's no fun in that, right? So people are, they're leaving the friend zone.
Leaving the friend zone and coming to the dating game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down here in Charleston.
So, all right. So we're going to talk a lot more about lending and real estate and your business and, and where you're going. But let's take it back a little bit. Okay. We got some time to rewind.
Where are we going? How far back? There's a limit on how far you can go back.
How far back we can go. Okay. So I always like to, anybody that comes on the show, I want to learn more about, a little bit of what made you who you are. Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
And one theme that I've seen so far, folks on the show, which it seems would hold true with you as well, was kind of an interest in sports early on. Some athletics there, some competitive nature, in you. So tell us a little bit more about that and how that's kind of shaped you into who you are in your business.
Yeah, so sports were always important in my house, whether it's being a fan or playing them, and I gravitated toward two sports as I got older, which was basketball and golf, and then just to golf. Those were the two primary sports, so competitive blood is in me. It's alive and well, and if my wife is listening, she's rolling her eyes right now. You've witnessed it at your gym.
I've seen some of this, yeah.
You've seen some of this. You give me a timed workout, I'm trying to beat everybody.
Yeah.
For my own good. And I don't care how you feel. I want to feel it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it came from my mom or my dad. That's a good question. I've never really thought that deep about it, but I certainly enjoy competition.
Okay.
When I get to work every day, I look at the leaderboards for the company. Just like I would look at the leaderboards for a golf tournament or what's the score in the fourth quarter of the basketball game. It goes hand in hand.
Like to have something to shoot for there.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you were a basketball guy growing up. Mm-hmm. So the GOAT, is that Jordan or is that LeBron?
Oh, it's Jordan all day.
Jordan,
Easiest answer ever. Got any harder questions?
Bring on the next one. All right. So one cool thing that you mentioned, which stood out to me, was that you had dinner one time with Hank Aaron.
Hammering Hank Aaron, Henry for all the friends of him. Rest in peace.
That's awesome.
Sad day. Yeah. So
when was that?
We moved from Boston to Hilton Head, and our neighbors in Hilton Head, that was their second home, and they lived in Atlanta. We became really good friends, and one thing led to another. Their neighbor good friend, Henry Aaron. So
No way.
I must have been 10, 12 years old, read his autobiography.
So that's when he was still the king. Before Barry Bonds.
He still is the king, right?
Yeah.
There's no asterisk next to his name. Clean Hammer and Hank.
Yep.
So I read his book, went to a dinner with him.
No way.
They sat me next to him at dinner for our friend's birthday party. They plopped me, Mr. 12-year-old kid, next to Hank Aaron.
How cool is that for a kid?
We'll never forget it. And he couldn't have been any nicer. Shook my hand, talked to me all night, signed my book, signed baseballs.
That's wild.
You've probably been to my office. You've seen the picture hanging in my wall of him and me shaking hands.
That's wild.
With
That's wild. How cool is that, man?
Such a cool thing.
How cool is that? I can't. I don't have any memorabilia like that. I was a big. I had like sports idols too growing up. But I was a big Ken Griffey Jr. guy.
Hey, same birthday as me.
That was my dude. Oh, really?
November 21st.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, KG
right.
Jr.
Were you much of a baseball guy?
Being from Boston, come on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course, right?
I mean, it's let's be honest, it's a boring game during the regular season. They need to figure out a way to speed that up a little bit.
160 something games,
yeah, 162
right?
games. Yeah. Playoffs, fantastic.
Yeah,
it's great.
Love it.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay, so you talk about some of your biggest personal achievements are being a husband and being a father. And one thing you mentioned that I thought was pretty interesting, kind of resonated with me, is that these two skills or these two things require very different skill sets.
Yeah.
And very different mindsets. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, being a good husband doesn't, different skill sets of being a good dad. Although they do overlap, obviously there's some things. Patience, respect.
Very, very important.
But,
yes.
As a parent, you have to think like a child sometimes, but also, bridge how to think like an adult in a kid way, right? To train them to be young men. I have two boys. So, I can't relate to the dads of daughters out there, but for boys, you want them to be good young men. Just want you to be a good human being.
Yep.
For my wife, she's already a great human being. She's spectacular. But she runs the house and I go off to work, and it's just a different dynamic of being a good husband. There are different needs that she has than my kids have, obviously.
Yep.
So it's not easy. Anybody out there struggling with that, you're not alone. Trust.
So your wife, she handles the kind of the home life, the kid life. So she has the harder job, is essentially what you're saying.
No doubt. She wants to trade jobs with me every day, and I say no.
No chance.
No chance.
Yeah. So now you've been in more or less in business for yourself. Right. Let's say, hunting to put food on the table.
That's right.
Your whole life.
That's an accurate description.
Do you build any of that kind of entrepreneurial mindset into being a dad, into lessons with your kids?
And I haven't been asked that, but absolutely. A recent discussion came up of a new video game console, and they're going to pay for it, right? I'm not giving them the money. They've saved up money, but I also say, guys, think about this in today's dollars. Are you going to wish you had that money in 6 months or a year? Call it $300. Are you going to wish you had it? Is it a necessity to have at the moment? And as any business owner, when you're creating a business, your margins are such where you have to pay attention to every cost.
Yep.
So save now, take care of it later. Is it something you really have to have? So that's something that just came up at the dinner table last night, ironically.
And did they have that future vision, or was it no, Dad, we definitely need this
thing
now?
We need it now. Can we go to Best Buy right now? It didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to take that out from a 10 and 7-year-old.
Yeah.
They're tunnel vision at the moment.
Yeah, and, I can relate. I can relate. I think it takes some time, and maybe it'll hit for them when, let's say, 6 months down the road, if there's something they want and they can't have it because they spent their money on this thing.
Well, right. And as like a business owner, we treated this at the dinner table and said, all right, this discussion's not over. Decision's not been made, but a meeting is adjourned at the moment.
Yeah.
We've talked about this for 30 minutes, enough. So they did, in that aspect, respect. All right, Mom, Dad, we got it. Cool. So I'm looking forward to the dinner table tonight.
Love it.
I know who's going to bring it up first, Fox. Hale's probably already forgotten about it. He's on to the next thing.
He moved that way.
Fox, you're not getting anything by him.
Well, they're sharp. Your boys are definitely sharp.
Apple falls far from me. It's all mom. All mom.
So, yeah, they definitely got that from Mom.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's circle it back to the business here, because I want to chat a little bit more about that. So you getting into the business, you had a mentor.
I did.
Kind of got you moving, and you said you credit him with kind of sharing the vision for what it looks like to build a business and to build a team.
Yeah.
So what was some of that like, and how has that kind of impacted what you've built today?
Well, I'm super grateful for it. Couldn't have done what I'm doing without that nurturing and, putting me underneath his wing, if you will. Because in the mortgage business, and I think like any business, you treat your customer as it's your only one you have. Doesn't matter the size, shape, color of the loan. Doesn't matter. They're a customer, and you want them to be customers for life, clients for life. Do the right thing every single time. We can get caught up in, this can wait till another day. No. Stop what you're doing. When there's an issue, you address it right there, right on the spot. That was one of my biggest lessons I think I've ever taken. If there's a problem, drop what we're doing, put the gloves on, get them dirty, figure it out. It goes much better if you do it that way. But how to handle a transaction, right? There are so many ways to skin a cat, as I use an example, but there's so many ways to get a loan done. There's 100 different examples of how to get from going under contract to closing and getting a mortgage. What's the best way? So it's treating it as a strategy versus here's a mortgage.
Yep.
Has been a big, that's the theme I use. Let's figure out the right strategy.
Well, and that's something that you've shared with me too, that's kind of, I guess maybe you'd call it one of your core values, in that you treat every relationship one at a time, right? You build your business one relationship at a time, and you really take the time to try to understand the client, right? So instead of just kind of shooting them a pre-qual link real quick and saying, fill this out, and then, plugging them into whatever system will get them there, taking a little bit extra time to make sure you really understand like what it is they're trying to do, what you have, and what's going to be the best solution for them.
Yeah, and I hope that will win over all this artificial intelligence we have going on. Our world, when I say our world, real estate, but all mortgage specific, has become so advanced with technology over the last 5 years. It's mind-blowing. It was just 2009 or 10. I was still sending faxes. Take a step back. That was 10 years ago, right?
Yep. I had to call to confirm that it came through. Yeah.
FedExing a loan package to an underwriter. So our industry has been just absolutely taken off by technology. And I also am hoping our values that we instill of understanding the client. I don't think a computer can ever understand that. Maybe I'm being naive. I don't know. I hope not. It's scary if it can.
I know.
Hopefully I'll be retired by then.
Right. Yeah. These may be problems that the boys need to solve.
Well,
the young people of this world.
Maybe they're going to be the ones creating the AI on that.
Yeah, true.
That'd be fine.
Kicking us out the
I'd
door.
be okay if they're the ones that create that.
Yeah, no doubt. So how has that helped you? You've been in the business 18,
almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20.
And so you've had. I can personally attest to. You're one of the best relationship builders I've ever met.
Oh man, that's nice of you. Thanks.
So and I mean I tell no lies, right? So I really mean that. And you really are just very genuine. Everything you say, and even when it's not good news, right? You say, hey, wish I had better news, but here's what it is. And you're just very forthright. And what it allows, in our relationship, what allows me to kind of have peace of mind with is just always knowing where I stand, whether that's professionally or personally or otherwise. And so, anyways, I say all that to kind of say that, like, has that been something that you've always implemented from day one, and is that kind of a pillar of how you've built your business over time?
Well, that's hard, right? Because as a sales guy, you want to come in flashy and Mr. Good News, right? Yes. And early in my career, no, there's no way. I know I wasn't. I had to figure out a way to get yes, or how could you figure out a way to skirt the problem? That takes maturity. That doesn't happen overnight. That's, you have to have case by case by case and become and know yourself a little better. Know the client you're dealing with, not know you and what is at stake for you, but what's at stake for the client. When you realize that, that's when you can become genuine.
Yep.
I like everybody to know where they are, and I like to know where I am. It's not a perfect world, and I'm not perfect. It's a two-way street. You probably heard me say that. It's a two-way street, partnerships.
Yep.
It's definitely not a one-way road.
Yep.
It's a two-way street. What can I do for you? What can you do for me? And what can we do together?
So what do you, let's talk about your team a little bit here. You've, you don't pay for you don't do any like paid lead generation, right? Your whole business is built on relationships, word of mouth, and making connections. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The bank doesn't provide me with any. I don't walk in and have a list of people to call. We don't have a bank branch here of bankers referring stuff.
It's online leads and a database of people to just call. Okay.
That's right.
So you built 230 million, 500 something units, all from building a referral network, essentially. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
So now, let's talk about your team. What's your team kind of comprised of, and what are everybody's roles?
Got it. So starting with relationships, I've had the longest. Scott Hurley and I met in Massachusetts at a previous company in 2001. He's my underwriter.
Okay.
He's the underwriter, hands down the best underwriter. Scenario guy, just really solid dude. Colleen McNamara. We met when I moved up here in 2005 in Charleston. I call her my sister. She knows what I'm thinking. I know what she's thinking. And she, she's a processor, but she's way more than that. She actually had underwriting authority at a previous company. And she handled all 530 loans.
She touches every one of them, right?
Machine.
Yeah.
Machine.
That's amazing.
So between all the emails, phone calls, title companies, mind-blowing the amount of work that goes into her job. Then there's the sales assistant roles. Christina and Michelle. Michelle's been with me the longest out of those two, and she came to me later in my career at my last company, and she handles the day-to-day sales assistant stuff, getting pre-qual letters out to your clients, to your teams. Christina does the same stuff, helps coordinate with closing attorneys and appraisers.
Okay.
And we got my boy Wade. Wade Horn is a loan officer there. He's going to shoot me if I don't get this right. I think he and I have worked together for 9 years. So I've totally gone off course with from years of experience to
There's a chronological. Now we're just all over the place.
I'm all over the map. So Wade's a loan officer, phenomenal. Okay. We trained him. Colleen and I trained him as a greenhorn. He came from the audio-visual world, and now he's a wonderful loan officer. Solid dude, gets it done, knows his stuff, walks in my office with a question. First thing I say is GTS.
GTS.
Did you Google that shit?
Google that shit.
Don't come in my office unless you tried first.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So GTS, and he shakes his head. I go, all right, come on in. And then Liz, who's here with us today. I've known Liz, really off base because I've known her the longest.
Liz, y'all can't see her on the camera, but she's back here shooting behind the scenes videos over here.
I think I've known her since I was 19. Her brother and I were fraternity brothers.
Crazy.
Shout out to Nick. And
so she's got a lot of dirt on you.
No doubt.
You got
to. I pay her.
Compensate her well.
No doubt. There's a lot of dead bodies out there. She knows where they are. Yeah.
So definitely, do we cover everybody?
That's everybody.
Okay.
That's everybody. Yeah.
You have one theme I'm noticing is you got 9 years, 19 years, 15 years. You got a lot of people that have been with you for a long time, which another testament to, I think, just shooting people straight. And being a good dude and putting the time and the energy into building those relationships, not just with your clients, but with your team.
Yeah, thanks. And it's weird. Last night I was up. Susan had to talk me off a ledge. I was having I don't want to call it a panic attack, because I was fine, but I was like, my mind was going 100 miles an hour.
There you go. Pull that mic close to you. There you go.
My mind was going about 100 miles an hour, and it was all about making sure everybody was okay on the team. I was like literally having a moment when I was with my family, my home family, worrying about the work family. And at work, I worry about my home family. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I just, I'm a lover. Let's put it that way.
It 100% does, because people know, they sense it. Yeah. They know you care, right?
That's nice. Thanks.
And it's I tell you what, that's something that I strive to emulate in my business and in building my team. Because especially in your business is not much different. There's traditionally not a whole lot of loyalty in lending, in real estate. I mean, people bounce all the time.
We call those the industry people, right? Yeah, they go chasing a bonus check or chasing a new shiny, mortgage product.
Yeah.
It's like the tortoise and the hare.
Yep.
Get that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Steady. You got to be steady Eddie. You can't just be a fast pooping horse.
Yep.
You got to just have steady, one foot in front of the other.
Well, and to have, a handful of people that have been with you a decade or longer, is awesome. It's definitely something I'm trying to create on the real estate side, because there may be even less loyalty on the real estate side than in lending.
Yeah, I agree.
And,
Agreed.
One of the things I ask anytime anybody comes on the team, and then also in our biweekly one-on-one meetings, I ask everybody this question every single time, and it's, what do you need to see or have in order to stay with the company for the next 10 years, 15 years? Right. So we always have kind of a pulse on that. Like, what do you need, right? How do we create some loyalty, and can I provide that for you?
Has there ever been anything you can't provide yet?
Not so far.
Okay.
Not so far, which is cool.
I'll go give the team some ideas. Lamborghini. I'll wrap Lamborghini.
You know what you deserve? You deserve your own paparazzi.
That's right. Yeah. Security detail, right?
Yeah.
Scott needs some security detail.
Yeah, you'd look great in a Aston Martin, Suddenly start getting these crazy requests.
Sorry, team. Sorry, Jeremy.
I'll know where it came from.
Keep it light here. Yeah.
So it's but kind of the eye-opening thing with that is that it's just the communication, right? Like, normally by the time something comes, as a team leader, right? By the time something comes across our desk, it's a lot of times it's been festering for weeks or for months or longer, and the story has gotten wound up, and then they've already kind of gotten all this feedback that is accurate, inaccurate, who knows? But at that point, it's a lot harder to do anything about it, right? Or maybe they've already made up their mind to go do something different, and because that line of communication wasn't open.
I think when people do leave, that's a great comment. When people leave a company, they have already left the company months before or weeks before. It wasn't that day. They've been festering on it. So you're doing the right thing. I check in on everybody. I like to have a little one-on-one chats and how's it going? What can we do better?
Yep.
It's again the two-way street example. What can I do better? What is it?
100%.
Are you okay? Is everything good? Do you have what you need? If I could do something within reason, let's make sure you're happy.
Love it, man. All right, so we got about a minute left here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So time flies, man.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Fun. My whole pal, dude.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly, if anybody wants to learn more about Wes Sellew or Renaissance Bank, where are we sending them? Where can they go find that?
Well, you can come to my website, wessellew.com. You can hit us up on Instagram, Wes Sellew _Renaissance Bank. We need to change that, Liz. Mortgages with Wes is coming at you. Mortgages with Wes way easier. I think we just had a great business discovery here. So we're going to change our Instagram profile today.
Love it. We'll put it in the description. So whatever they decide.
Chair
we'll throw it
spins by Wes, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So people definitely need to go to your Instagram.
There's great info there.
See your patented spin move.
Yeah, but there's actually good information. That's fun to share with clients, especially first-time home buyers. It's such a fun way to maybe learn about mortgage.
100%.
Versus talk to me.
Yep.
It's a little more fun there.
And if you can educate and entertain, then you'll capture their attention. I don't know who said that or if I just made it up, but
that was good.
You do a great job of it. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, man, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, brother. Carving the time out. I appreciate it. And, good luck. Keep kicking some ass here for the rest of the year.
Love watching you, man.
All right, brother.
Doing great.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like or subscribe or follow or whatever platform you're on. Just push that button to make sure you don't miss the next video. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.